What's up, team, and welcome to Mettle Memo number 39. Today's topics include 1. Lesson learned, move with intention. 2. Tip of the week, what interval training teaches you. 3. Meals and macros. And 4. Training and workouts of the day. Let's start with lesson learned. Move with intention. Move with intention, and it will show in everything you do. The moment I realized I was just moving. There was a time when I thought motion was progress. The busier I stayed, the more I was doing something, but eventually I realized I was just spinning. I was lifting, running, working, posting, but not actually moving forward. I realized this in the beginning of my marathon training. There were 2 weeks where I was so excited to start this training block, but soon that honeymoon phase of the, quote, new training program started to fade, and I was left with a routine more than motivation. I was working really hard on a real estate transaction for my day job, which gave me a strong purpose each day. But when I was not in the motion of work, I was left more of like a robot than intentional movement. Now look back on the past 3 months of your own life. Have you been waking up and checking the box of the gym, eating relatively healthy, and working just to unwind in front of Netflix and repeat it all the next day? Just to recognize that the highlight over the past 3 months was maybe that sports game that you attended or the weekend trip to a holiday spot, just like a quick weekend. Are these days blending more than feeling true purpose and intention each day? Well, I fell in all of those categories. So the shift toward intention. Everything changed when I started asking why before how. Why am I training this way? Why am I saying yes to this project? When my why became clear, my energy followed. I stopped chasing everything and started choosing what aligned with who I ultimately wanted to be. I journal most mornings, and one morning in particular, I realized I watched myself journal in a daze from the early morning wake up in a way that was like a third person watching over myself. Kind of creepy, but it showed me a routine. What purpose was I pulling from this journal? I began to ask myself why, like a 5-year-old. Why am I journaling every morning? Why am I training for this marathon? What makes this marathon so important to me? With these questions, I started to recognize a deeper meaning in my actions instead of just going with the motions. I felt a pull. I want to show myself that I am capable of setting my mind to something and succeeding. I used to be overweight with a, quote, party habit. And now I'm a different person. What kind of person am I really capable of being? So I set boundaries and guidelines to make each day more intentional, starting with the question, why am I working so hard to be a better version of myself? This gave me a more clear direction on how my actions can follow. And then there's a ripple effect. Moving with intention doesn't just change your output, it changes your presence. People can feel when you're grounded in purpose. Your words carry more weight. Your habits start syncing with your goals. It's not just about doing more, it's about doing on purpose. My company started to give me calls late night congratulating me on a successful deal close and started to share how they noticed a shift in my intention. My wife started to smile more and thanked me for being more present. My training got immensely better when I stated, if I want to be capable of proving my old self wrong, I'm not going to stop on this run. I'm going to push through the discomfort. Life, in general, the mundane, the boring, the Netflix, the food, the cologne, all suddenly had more meaning. I brought focus and intention into each action. And there's discipline behind it. Intentional movement isn't effortless. It means saying no to distractions, staying patient with the process, and trusting that alignment beats urgency. Some days it looks quiet, but that's where real growth happens. I simplified everything. Instead of journaling until the timer on my red light therapy turned off, I stopped journaling whenever I answered the question, what is your intent for today? I said no at times to friends that wanted to hang out, and yes at times to friends that wanted to hang out, and I made each day count. The takeaway: when you move with intention, everything you do, from your workouts to your relationships to the way you breathe, carries a certain clarity. It shows. You start to live with rhythm instead of reaction. That's the lesson I keep coming back to. Every movement tells a story. Make sure yours means something. It's not easy to have attention to the mundane or small things in your day-to-day, but I promise my life has been so much brighter. This tip this week: what interval running really teaches you. Interval workouts, track workouts, hill sprints, etc., they teach you three important factors: pacing awareness, efficiency under stress, and ultimately building your ceiling. So we'll start off with pacing awareness. Intervals train your internal governor. You start learning what different gears actually feel like, how a 5K pace burns versus a threshold kind of hums just below it. You stop running blind and start running by feel. Over time, that awareness sharpens your ability to hit goal splits, manage your fatigue, and finish stronger instead of fading late in a race. My coach consistently tells me, don't go out too hard. I learn this lesson almost every interval workout. I feel fresh and capable of succeeding. So my first rep is fast. But by rep 5 or 6, I am really struggling to maintain that same speed, let alone the pace I am supposed to hit. Understanding my limitations, my capabilities under fatigue versus under fresh legs, has shifted my ability to train hard. Number 2, efficiency under stress. The true skill of interval work isn't running fast, it's recovering fast. When you alternate between effort and rest, your body learns to clear lactate out more efficiently, lower your heart rate faster, and hold your form under fatigue. That's what separates a good runner from a durable one. Each recovery jog becomes data. How quickly can you reset before the next surge? I'm more focused on calming down and taking my recoveries easy versus pushing through to show my Strava followers what a great average pace I held that no one really cares about. And number 3, building the ceiling. Intervals raise your aerobic ceiling and improve your VO2 max, your ability to deliver oxygen to working muscles. They also teach your legs how to handle the pounding of faster turnover without ultimately breaking down. The result: more speed economy at marathon pace, sharper acceleration on hills, and confidence when race pace feels easy by comparison. So my favorite interval workout is a warm-up of 3 kilometers. Then your main set is 8 reps, 800 meters at maximum threshold pace, your VO2 max, followed by 90 seconds of standing recovery, letting your body drop down, your heart rate lower, and then hit it again 8 times. Cool down with 2 kilometers. So it's an 800-meter repeat workout. My tip this week is to incorporate more intervals into your weekly routine. Part 3, what I am eating. So below are some pictures and macros of food I enjoyed cooking or eating from this past week. So first up is my wife's favorite, which is the chicken cordon bleu. It's homemade by her with this baby gem lettuce salad. Approximate calories 400, protein 27 grams, fat 17 grams, and net carbs 34 grams. Next up, we have tilapia with jasmine rice, tomatoes, and capers. So this is probably the healthiest, just fish and rice. 450 calories, 45 grams of protein, 6 grams of fat, virtually nothing just from the olive oil, and net carbs 51 grams. And lastly, we have a nice fall meal here. We have ground beef, butternut squash, and a salad. Calories 330, protein 35, fat 15 grams, and net carbs 14 grams. Part 4, how I am training. So this is a breakdown of my week. Monday, full body strength. Tuesday, 2-kilometer repeat interval workout. Wednesday, 12.5-mile run. So this is like my midweek medium long run. Thursday, 8 miles easy with some strides at the end, followed by a full body strength workout. Friday, full body strength workout, followed by a 5K easy run, more of like a recovery run. Saturday, it's either 6 miles easy or 8 miles at a tempo pace. Sunday is a long run, anywhere between 20 to 23 miles, usually progressive runs, meaning I start off 4 miles easy, 8 miles harder, and then end it with 8 miles at race pace. So my total running miles are about 60 to 64 miles a week. Total strength time is anywhere between 3 to 4 hours, closer to 3 at this point. For running, my runs have gotten harder and harder and harder. The volume's increasing. I'm actually hitting weeks that I never have hit before. So I'm running about 60 to 62.5 miles a week. My recovery has been a lot harder to maintain, but that's really expected at this point. So I'm about 3 weeks out from the CIM Marathon on December 7th, and I have not officially set a goal. It is, however, to PR, and I know that is going to be a sub 309. But maybe go for sub 305 or sub 3 is up for debate and will ultimately be determined by my run coach and how I feel on race day. Furthermore, I am really focused on the London Marathon and PRing there, and that's at the end of April. So I'm paying attention more to that, trying to be wiser, not as much on this course. Workout of the day. We have circuits for accessories because so much volume's on my legs. Let's focus a little bit on the biceps. So 6 rounds, 16 reps each. We have bicep curls, toes to bar, tricep push down, mountain climbers, rest for a minute, and then repeat. Check out the 247-365 program. I send it out every Sunday. Otherwise, have a beautiful week. And as always, happy training.